So that all came together much easier than I thought it was going to. The throttle cable literally just slipped on, and that's never happened in my entire life. So we're going to see real quick if it leaks. Fingers crossed, guys. Okay. It's not confirmed yet because it takes a while to fill up. But oh my god. So far so good. Don't get excited, Alistair. Do not get excited. Don't you dare. Ah! And they're both leaking. Ah!
Welcome back to the ThePirateRagnar channel. Today is Wednesday, and we are going to be discussing the bane of every vintage motorcycle enthusiast, carburetors.
Just when you think you got it all sorted out, everything's working perfect, something else happens. So the carbs are leaking.
At this point, I had no clue what was happening with the carbs, but with my patented and incredibly frustrating trial and error approach to solving problems that I don't understand.
So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go do, and we're going to see what happens.
As you can see, this system works-ish. I proceeded to take almost a week to try one thing after another before really narrowing in on what the problem was.
Okay, so the plan has changed several times now. It's back to leaking out of the overflow nozzles.
My main concern was getting the actual parts I would need to do the job correctly in under a week.
Because I'm really worried that a rebuild is the only thing that's going to actually solve this, and I can guarantee that I won't get the kit in time. So I'm just kind of running from one issue to another. So
next idea was to use the backup carb and hope that it was in decent enough condition to get Mauls up and running for the skills test, which it wasn't.
Just to add insult to injury, the throttle body, or the part of the carb that hooks up to the throttle cable, the pull cable, which is the important one, this bike doesn't even have its push cable installed, is broken on the second carb. Here, there's only one foot on there. The other one is snapped right there, and there should be 2 feet on it. That's what holds the little end of the throttle cable. So I can't use that carb, even if I wanted to. So the only option now is to drain all the gas out of Mauls' original carb and then figure out what's going on with the float bowls.
So I cleaned up Mauls' original carb, put it on the workbench, and pretended that I knew what I was doing. This is another part of the patented process that clearly works flawlessly. I was able to clean out a load of junk, put it all back together, and she still leaked. It was time to cannibalize the other carb to see what parts could be used.
So these are kind of a mess. There's all sorts of broken things on them. This is broken, and compared to that, throttle assembly was snapped, as we discussed before. Somehow they thought that putting these little sponges here and zip tying them is going to be the effective way of making things work. There's all sorts of weird things going on here with this, but the most important thing, I think, is that these needles seem to be in brand new condition. It's like someone did get a rebuild kit, or at least a couple of new parts, and decided to try and make it work. I don't know how much of the rest of this carb body is actually salvageable without some very important parts being reacquired that don't normally come with the rebuild kits. But with any luck, those are going to solve the problem with Mauls carb right now. Let's hope for the best. Okay, slight lazy mode. The thing I find most annoying about taking the carbs in and out, other than the boots on this side, is the throttle cable. So I've decided to leave it on. We've just strapped the carburetors here upside down, and I'm going to very carefully remove the float bowls and the floats and replace them as mentioned, with these two guys here from the old carbs, or the second set of carbs that are all sorts of messed up.
In the end, I probably removed the carbs and reinstalled them a half dozen times, so at least I have even more experience doing that than I ever did before. Secret was eventually willing to lend a hand, and then this happened.
You keeping track of those bolts, huh? Yeah? I know. What would I do without you? I'd get lost. I'd probably put these all in the wrong spot. You're also functioning as an amazing chock for the front of my wheel. Just make sure that bike don't go nowhere. Okay, we're gonna try this shot again. Different camera, but same shot we opened the episode up with. Now we have different needles in there. Everything's been reassembled again. It's sitting in there hooked up to the gas tank. Okay. Ignore that these boots aren't on there right now. Just know that, you know, these would go here. Okay, good. All right. What we want to see is whether or not gas comes out of these things. Here we go.
One painfully frustrating week since Mauls was first completely reassembled this year.
Please don't. Like I fully expect that they will. Not because I'm not hopeful, but that'll be my luck lately. I don't know how long to wait. I'm nervous. With the risk of this being the same as the last time, I think we're good. I honestly think we're good. That's like 30 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. It's not flowing gas anymore. I think we're good. Hey, Secret. Thank you so much for your help, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh my lord. I think it worked. Ah. Fucking amazing. So it looks like it really was these. And they're wet right now, so it's kind of hard to tell. They're kind of worn on the tips. This one might be a bit more obvious. Because they're wet right now, it doesn't really look like it. But the tips are worn quite a bit. Like they have an indent where they sit inside the receiver for them. Seems like they weren't quite sealing, but it's still not leaking. Yes. Reassembled for the first time in a while. Let's see if she turns on. Can I help you? You're insane, dude. Back up. Go on. Back up. Well, she runs. And that is hella satisfying. There's still work to do. We got to get her cleaned up a little bit, fix up some of the wiring, finish taping the front end of the wiring harness. But after that, I think she's good to go. She's not leaking oil. She's not leaking gas. Her front brake works. I just might have ripped it around the parking lot to check that. And he's still insane. So there you go. You insane bugger. Would you back up? Go. Go.
And that was the frustrating carb journey. If you like the content on the channel, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know of anything else that you'd like to see when it comes to motorcycle maintenance or just anything in general. It helps the algorithm, and I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time, ride safe and ride fun, and I will see you on the next video.